Hi everyone, thank you. Thanks for joining. So this is the second video in two-part series where I'm developing Agentic AI application using GCP and MCP toolboxes, MCP toolbox for databases. So this is the high-level architecture or the data flow, so to speak. So it starts with the user entering the prompt into an AI agent. So we'll build the AI agent in GCP. And behind the scenes, we'll use Vertex AI, which will connect to LLM to process the natural language queries, and we'll give our agent the tools, and these tools will connect to MCP Toolbox for database, which is kind of a central repository of all the tools that you can build on, which would potentially connect to multiple data sources. In this case, we are going to connect to backend database, which we will host on Cloud SQL, Google Cloud SQL, Postgres database, and that will be HR people database where the user can query about the employees, their office location, things like that. And MCP Toolbox for databases allows for to be able to connect to Cloud SQL, MySQL database, Bigtable, BigQuery, so multiple options there. This is going to be a hands-on video. So we already built this part. So we already built the connectivity from MCP Toolbox to Postgres Cloud SQL database, which we hosted both of those on the GCP platform. And now we are going to build, so we are going to create an agent and give it the toolbox, which will then connect to MCP Toolbox, and then which will connect to the Cloud SQL. We'll use Vertex AI from Google Cloud Platform for this video. So it's going to be hands-on, so stay tuned. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So this is our Google Cloud Console. As you can see, I'm on my trial. I've used $7 out of $300. So let's just start looking at our Cloud SQL database. So this is a Cloud SQL database, and we have people data instance. So let's open it there. And as you can see, it is in US Central 1. And this is our setup, and let's take a look at the users. We have N Shukla, and now let's go ahead to Cloud Studio and log in. So database is Postgres, and user is N Shukla. If I remember the password correctly. Okay, so and then we have employees table, and let's go ahead and write a query here. I guess you can do query here. Okay, and then it pulls up the data here. So there are about 250 employees here. So we can see that data here. So 250 employees. So they have different department, office location, charge rate, things like that, title, um, things like that. Now what we want to do is, so what we did last time, just to recap, let me go to Cloud Shell Editor, put a new tab. Open Cloud Shell Editor, authorize, take a second for it to okay. And this is what we had set up. We had installed toolbox, and within that toolbox we had tools.yaml. So now I'll just quickly start MCP toolbox and just make sure that it is working as we expect it to. So if we can just give a second. All right, so let me go to terminal, and let's and then the toolbox, and within that we have a file called toolbox. So we'll call toolbox, and then we'll say tools file, and then we'll say tools.yaml. Okay, and I'm hoping it starts. Okay, so it starts with the UI. Okay, slash UI here. And now we are able to see our toolbox. And then there are two. One is by department. So in this case, finance. And if we run the tool, then we see all the employees that have finance in them. And let's say if I search by location, we can say things like Texas or maybe Texas. And then it gives all the employees that have Dallas, Texas as the location. If we were to just type in Texas, and if we run the tool, then it will give all the employees that are in state of Texas. So now we want to hook this up to the agent. So that's what we are going to build now. And so we are going to use agent development kit. So we are here. So let me close this first. Control C here. So I'll just leave this here and I'll open another terminal window here. Okay. And so we are in home directory. So, okay. And then we'll first go ahead and we'll create another folder and then install agent development kit. So agents, and now first we'll set up virtual environment. So we'll say python -m -venv. So we'll create a virtual environment here. No module name -venv. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we have that, and we'll activate this. Then we'll say source. Okay, activate. Okay, so now we are in our virtual environment, and now we'll install. So we'll need Google agent development kit and the toolbox core. So we'll install those. So pip, it is called Google ADK, then toolbox core. So we'll let it install. So it's downloading and install. It take a few seconds for it to get installed. Okay, it's in the final phase of installing, so it should take just a second. Okay. All right, so the agent is finally, not the agent, but the agent, the ADK and Toolbox Core, both of them have been installed in our virtual environment. So now let's go ahead and verify. So let's say ADK here, and it should show the version and things like that here. Okay, so ADK version, it will show the version here. Okay, so it is 1.26, so we have the version. Now let's go ahead and use it to create the agent. So now one of the commands is create a new app, agentic app. So we'll say ADK create, and we'll call it HR_agent. Now it's going to create files. So first it will ask to choose a model for the root agent. So in our case, we are going to choose Gemini. So let's go ahead and click Gemini. And then we are going to use Vertex AI. So as our LLM, so Vertex AI. So you need existing cloud account and project. So we need to enter project ID, but we already have the project ID. But in case if we wanted to just confirm, so we click on here and we can see Agentic AI POC, right? And so we'll just hit enter here. And region, so it's still US Central 1. So let's hit enter. And so it created 3 files under folder called HR agent. .env, initpy, and agent.py. So now let's go ahead and look at those files. So let's go into editor view. So we are under Agentic AI POC here, and then agents, and then we have HR agent, and then we have this with dunce env, but init.py has from dot import agent, so that is referencing the agent.py files, py file, and so it has this import here right now, and it has root agent. It doesn't have reference to toolbox yet. We'll add that, but it has description. It has the system prompt here, and then the name of the model here. And so let's go back to the terminal, and maybe we can go to cdhr. Okay, and then we can say okay. And so the env file has used Vertex AI. That's why it is 1. If we were to use Gemini, then it will be 0. And this is our project, and this is the location. Those were the prompts that we had given. So that is in the env file. So now let's go one step back up, and now go here. So now we have the HR agent. So let's just say ADK web. Now it will run the agent in a web browser. Okay, take a moment. So now it says the agent is running at this location. So we'll click on it. And here it shows our HR agent. If there are multiple, then it would show all of those. And then let's just interact with it. Permission denied. Enable it by visiting. Okay. Okay, the error says Vertex AI API has not been used, so we need to go ahead and enable it. So let's copy the URL for it. Okay, copying the URL here. Open up a new browser window. Okay. Okay. And we need to make sure we are in the right account. Okay. And then we enable the Vertex AI API. It'll take a minute for it to get enabled, and then we'll continue. Okay, I guess it's enabled, so let's go ahead and try. It might not work right away, but let's go ahead and try. So I'm going to go back to our editor here, and maybe we retry here. Let's see if it works. All right, so let's this is our HR agent, so let's try. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it's right. Okay, so of using AI, so just this generic query. I hope it returns back. Okay, so it does return something, so that means it is going to Vertex AI, and then it's bringing back the data. So it's working fine. So now let's go ahead and hook up the toolbox to our agent. And as we already know, we have the agent files here. So let's go ahead to the editor. So we have agent.py. So we need to modify this file to be able to connect to our toolbox. So that's what we'll do next. Right, so I'm going to edit this file. So I'm going to copy paste some code here and then go from there. So for example, I'm going to import the toolbox sync client, and then I'm going to set up toolbox to be this. And next I'm going to set up the tools. Okay, so this so next I'm going to set up the tools. So for that, let me go ahead and look into There was this folder called toolbox, and then we had a file called tools.yaml, and our toolset was my underscore toolset. So let's go ahead and create connection to that. Tools is equal to toolbox dot load underscore toolset, and then we will get the toolset name here. So our toolset name is my toolset, and so let's go back to the agent file. So that is the connectivity with our toolset, and now we'll need to adjust the agent. So the description is you are a helpful agent, you are a helpful assistant for answering the user questions. Um User questions relating to people database, and then you'll say we will say you are a, so you'll say you are a helpful assistant for answering user questions to employees. So answer questions to the best of your knowledge. Outside of this topic, so we kind of set up this guardrails for here, and then we give it the tools. So we say tools equal to, and then we have tools up there, so we just say tools. So we got that, and let's save this. So now let's go ahead and make sure we run this. But before we run the agent, let's make sure our MCP toolbox is running. So let's go ahead to our terminal. So our MCP toolbox is running. Um, this is all okay. This is agentic, so we need to have MCP toolbox running. So let's close this first, and let's make sure. Let's check this. Okay, our MCP toolbox is running. We verified it here. Okay, fetching the tools. Let's say if we were to put in finance, it did. So our MCP toolbox is running. Now we need to make sure we run the agent, and so to run the agent, it is ADK web. So let's go ahead and run. Okay, so it is at this location, port 8000. So we have HR agent, and we'll just start interacting with it. But there's nothing happening. Okay, invalid. So let's X this out. Let's X it out as well. And let's run this one more time. Okay. This time without UI. Okay, so it is ready to serve. So we have our MCP server up and running. Now let's go ahead and start our agent. So ADK web. Now this strictly for development. For production, we will have another video where we will talk about how we can productionize this. So we got this. So let's go ahead and start. And let's see if the agent starts interacting. Okay, so let's see. Okay, tools not defined. So let's go ahead and update our, I guess I had a typo there. So let's go ahead and open the editor. So tools, yeah, there it is. So Control S. Now let me go back to the terminal. Let me close this session, and we'll run ADK web again. Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, so it says you I'll be here to help you with any questions you have about employees. So it's strictly causing the guardrail, but let's ask question outside of employees. AI. Let's see what it does. So it's not going to answer anything outside of that. So we can say, okay, employees in finance department. So here it, okay, so it gave me this, and we can say, give me count of employees. So we only gave tools for searching by employee. So, oh, it says resource exhausted. Please try again later. Okay, let's see what happened here. I guess there's a limit to free account, but okay, that's kind of new. List of employees in marketing department. So it gave the list. I guess it tried to do complicated computation, and that's where it failed. But it gave employees in marketing department, and we can ask, give me a list of, let's say, work from Dallas. So it is picking employees by location. Let's see if we, okay. Okay, let's see if we make it more conducive to the fields that we have. Okay, it gave employees who work from Dallas, from Phoenix. Okay, so it gave all the employees who work out of Phoenix. Let's see if it does this. If it's able to convert Texas to TX, I can only search by specific city. More specific location in Texas. Okay, so we can just say, so this is obviously returning data, but this is only for development. To productionize, there are some additional steps that we need to take. So maybe I'll cover that in a future video. But I hope this gave you a view, understanding of how easy it is to develop agent and agent that would work with your database. So you can build some tools that you can give to the agent, and then it would query and respond to requests or prompts in natural language. So that's what I was wanting to showcase by this video. So I hope you find this useful. I really enjoyed building this, and I hope you are also able to do some hands-on activity with GCP and agent development kit from Google and the MCP Toolbox for databases. Thank you. Thanks again. Thanks for watching.